The town of Willow Bend sat quietly along the edge of the Mississippi River, where wooden docks creaked with age and lantern light shimmered across slow-moving water. It was the kind of place where time seemed to walk instead of run, and every face carried a memory. In Willow Bend lived a woman named Eleanor Hart. She was neither rich nor powerful, and few outside the town knew her name. She kept a small boarding house near the river, baked bread every morning, and played the old upright piano that had belonged to her mother. On calm evenings, when the sun sank low and the cicadas began their song, her music drifted through open windows and down the dusty streets. The townsfolk said Eleanor's playing made the past feel close. It reminded them of Sunday dresses, riverboat whistles, and the way the town once breathed with hope. But hope was growing thin. A railway company from up north had marked Willow Bend on its maps, not as a destination, but as an obstacle. They planned to reroute the river traffic, build steel docks miles away, and leave the town cut off from trade. Without the river, Willow Bend would wither, shops would close, families would leave, the town would fade into a footnote. The mayor tried letters, the merchants sent petitions, nothing worked. The company never replied. One cold autumn night, a meeting was held in the town hall. Oil lamps flickered as worried voices filled the room. Men argued, women whispered prayers, and the silence between words felt heavier than the words themselves. Eleanor sat in the back, her hands folded, listening. When the meeting ended, no solutions remained, only fear. That night, Eleanor did not sleep. She sat at her piano long after midnight, the house quiet except for the ticking of an old clock. Her fingers hovered over the keys as memories rose like fog, her mother teaching her hymns, her father humming river songs after long days at the dock, the laughter that once spilled from every corner of town. Then she played. One single note, slow and steady, followed by another. The melody that formed was not loud nor fast. It was gentle, aching, and true. It carried the sound of home. It carried the sound of loss and love braided together. By morning, Eleanor had written the song down on a single sheet of paper. Days later, a riverboat bound north docked briefly at Willow Bend. Among its passengers was a young clerk who worked for the railway company. Eleanor handed him the folded paper without explanation, asking only that he pass it along to someone who might listen. Weeks passed. Winter crept in. Snow dusted rooftops, and the river ran dark and cold. The town waited. Then, one afternoon, a black automobile rolled into Willow Bend, its engine breaking the usual silence. A well-dressed man stepped out, followed by two others. The townspeople gathered, wary and curious. The man asked for Eleanor Hart. Inside the town hall, he unfolded the worn sheet of paper. He spoke softly, his voice unsteady. The song had reached the company's headquarters. It had been played in a crowded office by a woman who once grew up in a river town much like Willow Bend. She had wept as she listened. Others had gathered. The song moved from hand to hand, from piano to piano, until it reached ears that no letter ever could. The man cleared his throat. The railway would not abandon Willow Bend. The docks would remain. The town would live. Outside, the bells rang. People cried openly, embracing one another in the cold air. Eleanor stood quietly, overwhelmed, her hands trembling, not from pride, but from relief. Years passed. The river kept flowing. Children grew old. Some things changed, others stayed the same. Eleanor's piano still sat by the window, and though the keys grew worn and the wood faded with time, the townspeople believed something of her music remained in the air, woven into the river wind, echoing through Willow Bend. They said it only took one note, played with a true heart, to save a town that refused to be forgotten.